What's happening, YouTube? Back in the day gamer here. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Today, we're jumping in the old four-wheel drive sleigh and heading up to the Detroit Retro Video Games Show. I got me a cigar, got me some CCR, got my Wicked Clown shirt on. Let's hit the road.
Some folks aboard, made to wave the flag. Woo, they're red, white, and blue.
Alright YouTube, so we are freshly back from the Detroit Retro Video Game Show. It's about an hour drive. About an hour drive back. That's how that works. Here we are with the things we picked up, sitting in the game room. Let's crack open a cold one and start relaxing and play some games. Alright, today we're drinking Hard Mountain Dew. It says right on the side of the can, 5% alcohol, 21 plus. So this is a Hard Mountain Dew, 0 sugar, watermelon flavored. I'm very skeptical. So, at the show, we obviously picked up some games, right? But we did some other stuff. It was a nice little show. The Detroit Retro Video Game Show, not a large convention. The only ones I've been to in the past were large. This one's smaller, doesn't make it bad. I was happy to go. Wish it would have been a little bigger so I could have spent more time there. But I did make a couple of loops, made sure I didn't miss anything, got a couple good scores, had a good time. Here's some footage. This was held this past weekend on November the 5th. Unfortunately, it's the same weekend as Torg in Columbus, which I really wanted to attend, but I couldn't. So it was awesome that this was going on at the same time, because this is a lot closer to me, and I could make it to it, and I did, and I had fun. They had a lot of Atari games. I've been seeing that more lately, which is cool. I didn't actually pick up any Atari games this time, because I can never remember which ones I have, because I don't play it that often, but they did have a good selection of Atari and Intellivision. They had a good selection of Nintendo games as well. They had quite a few heavy hitters, some of which we'll show and we'll get into later. But there was lots of Super Nintendo, lots of Genesis, and the biggest selection of Master System games that I've seen in a long time. There's a lot of consoles as well. I almost bought this disgusting green Mountain Dew Xbox. I've never seen it before. I always wanted to get that green Halo one, and I still do. Oddly enough, there was also a large selection of Sega Saturn and Virtual Game Boy games. Aside from the games, there was lots of toys and whatnot. Good amount of retro toys, old shit that you wouldn't play with, but stuff that you saw from back in the day and really brought you back. There was quite a few Transformers, a little Voltron, many Bart Simpson whatnots. Here's this elf figure that I didn't get, but I should have. Some old school lunchboxes. There was this AT-AT that I really should have bought, but I forgot because it was down below the table. And I didn't remember it until seeing the footage for this. Otherwise, that'd have been coming home with me too. This one guy had a whole bunch of arcade marquees, which I always want to pick one up, never do, but one day I want to have a big wall. Just those arcade marquees, like the whole wall. I think that would be the shit. There was this random old school phone here for some reason, with this awkward guy in a Hawaiian shirt behind it, trying to pretend like he wasn't weirded out by me filming. They also had some tournaments going on. I can't remember all of which, because the only one I was interested in was the Tetris tournament, which I participated in and took third place, might I add. Third place, that's right. Obviously love me some Tetris. Unfortunately, I don't have any gameplay footage of the tournament because I was there by myself and I was playing. So I couldn't exactly record that, but you've played Tetris before and you've seen people play Tetris. So that fills you in on that, brings you up to speed. It was 5 minutes. Best score you get in 5 minutes. I had 55,000, which is okay, but I wasn't done. I was only 1/3 down to the screen. You know, I was nowhere near dying, but Dude that won had 200,000. He started on level 18, and like I said, was Rain Man. But we're not going to talk about that anymore. I'm a little bit bitter. I'm not bitter. It was fun. I liked it. So my pickups. I didn't really get that much stuff because I was trying to haggle on some of the heavy hitters I wanted, like Princess Tomato in the Salad Kingdom, Mega Man 5, Sword Master. There was Little Samson, which is 2,400. Absolutely not. There was I forget. So we're not going to talk about it. So moving on to the pickups. I didn't get that many things, but I found this really amusing. And it was only $2. They wanted 3. I talked them down to 2. But I was staring at it. I'm like, do I really want this? Do I want this? We need to have this. And the answer ended up being yes. It's a old school Bart Simpson camping figure. I don't know what it's from. Probably a Happy Meal. It's fucking sweet. I don't know. It's going on Castle Grayskull. That's where it's going. Bart. He lives in Castle Grayskull now. All right. Games. Only picked up 1 Nintendo game. That's what I'm hunting for, trying to get that complete set. I needed this turd, and now it's there and I can flush it. The Great Waldo Search. So I never ended up picking this one up before because I have Where's Waldo and I thought it was the same game, but it's not. They ended up making 2 shitty Waldo games. This one is actually a little better than the first one. For some reason, I had fun playing it just now, and I was capturing the footage, and I ended up playing it for a little while. But yeah, it's a Where's Waldo game on the Nintendo. What I want to know is what the hell's going on in this screen right here. What is the background? I've never read Where's Waldo, so I don't know what this is all about. But yeah, it's a thing. It's happening. Here we are. Then I picked up a Game Boy Advance game. You know, I love me some Top Gun. And so, let me get the old man vision happening here. Holy shit, that's small. Top Gun Firestorm Advance. You know, back in the day, Gamer loves him some Top Gun, so I had to pick this up. I was a little worried because there is another Top Gun game for the Game Boy Advance that I knew I had, but it wasn't this one. So I gambled the $2 it cost and came out on top again with another $2 score. This one is better than the other one, as I remember, but it's a isometric top-down 3D shooter. When I first put it in, I hated it, but after 5 or 10 minutes I got used to it. I ended up playing it for a while. It's pretty cool. I'm a little disappointed on the blurred out pixelated cutscene action, but that's not what the game's about. It's about the gameplay, and the graphics in the game are pretty damn good. Game Boy Advance usually comes through in that department. So yeah, being a Top Gun fan, I'm surprised that I had never heard of this game. But for $2, it's a fantastic addition to the collection. Last game I picked up. I was looking at the Atari games. It's probably why I didn't pick up any Atari, because I got sidetracked and I heard somebody say this. I was just like, what? What are they talking about? It's over there? And when they walked away, I crept right up and looked, and sure enough, it was what I heard them say. Fist of the North Star for Game Boy. So I'm not sure if this is an import or not. I think it is, but that doesn't matter because it's imported to my game room now. What's unfortunate is I was hoping that we were going to get some kind of platformer, anything maybe close, similar to the movie that I like so much, but oh no, it's a fucking Game Boy fighter. As disappointed as I was at that fact, it's actually not terrible. It's not very good at all, but it's not terrible. It's pretty easy. I breezed through half of it the first time I played. Now, okay, it's a fighter on the Game Boy, so, expectations are low. There wasn't a whole lot going for it, except the controls were pretty good. The part that I liked the most was when you're fighting Jackie, it appears to be the same fight scene from the movie when you end up killing him. You're on top of the buildings. You see here in the background, I can't make out everything that I've played so far, so I don't know how true to the movie it is. But that part was pretty true, and I thought that was cool. But since it's a fighter on the Game Boy, I don't know how much we're going to put that in the rotation. But it was only $10. Whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't even bother trying to haggle with this because they didn't have anything else I wanted, and I had a $10 bill. So that wraps up everything I have to say about the Detroit Retro Video Game Show. I had a good time. It was fun. I'll definitely go back next year. You know, it was a smaller show, which didn't make it bad. I wish it were bigger, so there was more stuff to buy. But there was a lot of people there, and everybody was pretty damn happy. So I imagine they'll be doing it again next year, and I imagine it'll get even bigger because they had to have made a good amount of cash at the door so they can run a bigger hall next year so they can make more money at the next show. So if you're in the area, hit it up. Good time. There's lots to do in Detroit as well, so make a weekend out of it. Thanks for tuning into my channel. I hope you liked this episode. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Until next time, YouTube, keep it retro!